I head over to my family's cafe branch to help out. After finishing my shift, I pour myself a drink using the standard employee benefit. But the second I take a sip, Guibadat spots me. He points right at me, totally going off. He yells that a few of our premium beans cost more than my daily wage. Pouring a massive cup like this, was I totally starving in my past life? If you cannot control that greedy mouth, why even work here? I am completely confused. The staff perk is exactly 1 cup a day. I claimed my own quota, completely trackable on the register. But he just rolls his eyes, tossing a super cheap instant coffee packet right onto the counter.
He barks that this is the real staff perk, telling me to stop trying to take advantage of the company every single day.
With the way I drink, I am apparently going to bankrupt the entire cafe. I'm so angry I actually laugh, setting my cup down. Fine, you're fired. Then I stare right at that incredibly cheap instant coffee packaging, frowning hard. Having this kind of garbage instant coffee show up in my shop is basically destroying the premium brand reputation we built, right? Our family beans are definitely premium, but not so expensive that an employee having just 1 cup a day could actually cause the entire business to crash. Plus, this exact perk is explicitly written in the employee handbook. Has this branch manager seriously never received any training? I walk right to the front counter, grab the handbook, flip to the benefits section, and shove it toward Guibadat. Guibadat, this rule is clearly stated right here in the manual. All full-time staff at this location are entitled to exactly 1 specialty coffee sold in the store every single day. This is a strict headquarters policy applied across all branches without any exceptions at all. That does not even bother looking at it. Crossing his arms, he rolls his eyes, asking who the real manager here is. Manuals are just paper, but people run things. Since my very first day on the job, the rules here are decided entirely by me. My blood runs cold, a bad feeling creeping in. This branch is always managed by my wife, Leo Nu Ian. I only came down here today because I heard they were short-staffed. Having some free time, I figured I might as well help out. To avoid putting unnecessary pressure on the local staff, I intentionally kept my real identity a total secret. I just told them I was a veteran headquarters employee sent down to help out while quietly checking on the new branch's operations during their hiring shortage. But I absolutely never expected a simple branch manager to be this incredibly arrogant and bossy. You see where this is going, right? The staff shortage is completely explained. Who could ever survive working under a toxic manager like this guy? It is merely 1 small branch cafe, so how did it somehow escape the headquarters' unified management system? Suppressing my anger, I question him directly. As a mere branch manager, what gives you the massive authority to arbitrarily alter official company policies? Before Guibadat can even reply, an employee named Tiao Vung jumps in. He looks me up and down, a mocking half-smile on his face, and speaks in this totally warning tone. Listen up, older brother. I highly advise you to stop being so nosy. Knowing too much is dangerous here. Just remember one rule. Following Boss Badat is your only right move. Deovun seemed totally normal on the job lately. I honestly never expected him to be Guibadat's loyal little lapdog. I built this brand with my own 2 hands. Since when does a random branch manager get to parachute in and act like the absolute boss? Pure fury surges inside me. Taking a deep breath, I slam my cup onto the counter with absolute force. That sharp crash instantly silences the cafe. Every eye locks right onto me. Staring straight at Guibadat, I speak with a perfectly cold tone. Fine. You are fired. The second those words drop, the air inside the room completely freezes for 2 whole seconds. Guibadat is totally stunned at first. Then he suddenly bursts into incredibly exaggerated laughter. Fire me? Old man, are you totally daydreaming right now? Wiping away his theatrical tears of laughter, he looks me up and down like I am completely out of my mind. Man, you are way too old to act like some kid born in 2000 fixing the workplace. Do you actually think spending a few days at headquarters gives you absolute supreme authority around here?
Deovun quickly chimes in, totally sucking up. Boss Badat, please just ignore this guy.
I think the heavy workload has seriously fried his brain, making him spout total nonsense right now.
A temporary helper acting like he is some insanely important big shot around here.
Guibadat instantly drops his smile, his face darkening. He steps right up and aggressively pokes my chest with his designer watch-wearing hand, using some seriously heavy force.
He angrily spells it out. Anyone in this shop can get fired, except for him. He says every single word dripping with pure, completely unfiltered arrogance and absolute contempt. He gives me two choices right now. Option 1, get out immediately. 2, kneel, apologize, then get lost. The nearby staff barely breathe, keeping heads down and faking busywork, though every single ear is listening closely. Far from being intimidated, I am actually just getting more and more genuinely curious about his whole game. What on earth gives this guy such an insane level of arrogant confidence? Even the most capable branch manager could never just completely ignore the main headquarters rules to this extreme level, not unless he has someone seriously powerful backing him up behind the scenes.
Our MC casually swats away the finger poking into his chest, staring straight back with a pretty cold glare.
He asks out loud, since when does a branch manage headquarter appointments, and who gave him that much authority? This direct question is exactly what the manager wanted to hear.
Quý bà Đạt tiêu chiếc chin up, flashing this completely smack smile that practically drips with pure show-off energy.
He adjusts the collar of his designer shirt and lets out a fake little cough. He claims he didn't want to reveal his identity because he prefers keeping things humble. But since a stupid pig like him wants to run straight into the line of fire today, he will happily let him die knowing the full truth. He takes a step forward, leaning right into our guy's ear, speaking with a tone that is somehow bragging and totally pitying all at once. He drops what he clearly thinks is his ultimate trump card. He tells our MC that he just kicked a solid iron wall by messing with him. The guy he just offended is the future male boss of this entire coffee brand. Our MC freezes for 2 whole seconds. If this guy is the future boss, who does that make him? A wild mix of emotions swirls around inside his head, eventually turning into this overwhelming urge to just laugh out loud. Looking at that utterly ridiculous expression on his face, our guy finally cannot hold back and actually bursts into laughter. That sound instantly freezes the smug grin right off Quý bà Đạt face. He furrows his brow, looking completely confused as to how anyone could still be laughing right now. What is so funny? Quý bà Đạt raises his voice, asking if he is scared out of his mind. Our MC just shakes his head, trying hard to suppress his laughter, staring back with an incredibly serious look. So you are the future boss here, our guy repeats. Quý bà Đạt puffs out his chest, looking like that is an absolute given. All right, our MC nods his head and pushes further. So what exactly is your proof to back up this grand identity of yours? That specific question seems to make him pretty happy all over again. He looks around at the staff eagerly eavesdropping, clearing his throat like he is about to give some epic public speech. Since you work over at the main headquarters, you must know our brand director is named Leonu Ian. Hearing his own wife's name drop from this guy's mouth makes our MC's heart clench, but his expression stays perfectly stone cold. He answers calmly, "Yeah, it is good that you know." Quý bà Đạt smirks with total satisfaction. He pulls his phone out from his brand new designer bag. Swiping a few times on the screen, he shoves the bright display right into our guy's face. Right there on the screen is a highly intimate photo of him and Leonu Ian together. The background clearly looks like a private VIP room inside some very high-end, luxury restaurant.
Leonu Ian is wearing a sharp business suit, tilting her head slightly, while Quý bà Đạt naturally leans right against her shoulder, his face showing pure joy and totally unfiltered possessiveness.
With that specific camera angle and their cozy posture, anyone looking would instantly know their relationship is definitely far from strictly professional.
Our MC stares hard at the photo, blood instantly rushing straight to his head. That is without a doubt Leonu Ian. He checks the date stamped at the top. Last month, exactly when she was supposed to be on a business trip he personally approved. Turns out she brought her little pretty boy along. He laughs, feeling quite a bit of genuine rage now. Liu Yuin only has her current success because of him, and now that her wings are strong, she dares to betray him? Absolutely unbelievable. Even though he let her take the director role, this entire brand is 100% his pre-marriage property. She actually dared to plant her secret lover right into his branch. Giving him this much authority, and even feeding him enough guts to cause such a massive scene. He has lived for over 30 years now. And this is the first time he has seen a homewrecker expose himself so loudly and proudly, like it is some earth-shattering achievement.
Now watch this payback. He lets out a cold laugh, and smack. A crisp, echoing slap completely shatters the dead silence of the quiet coffee shop.
He does not hesitate for even a single second, landing an incredibly heavy slap directly across Badat's face.
The whole world basically turns dead silent. Every single person around is so brutally shocked by this sudden strike that their jaws just drop.
Badat tightly clutches his burning, stinging cheek, his wide eyes practically overflowing with utter, absolute disbelief at what just happened. He seems completely unable to process why this mere employee, who was totally under his thumb just 1 second ago, actually dared to raise a hand and physically strike him now. Our guy just casually rubs his slightly numb palm from the impact, looking down at that totally horrified face of his. He speaks up with an icy voice. If you want to take shortcuts, you better mentally prepare yourself to be fully exposed.
He tells him not to mess around with a married woman, adding that if he already knew and still chose to be a homewrecker, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Also, he makes one thing very clear right now. Liu Nuyin actually holds absolutely zero decision-making power around here.
Badat finally snaps out of his shock, his surprise instantly replaced by ultimate fury. He screams out loud, "You actually dared to hit me? You dared to hit me?"
He turns toward the staff and his little lackeys who are standing there, scared, stupid, screeching at the absolute top of his lungs.
Why are you all just standing there like idiots? Are you dead? Hurry up and pin this bastard down. Pin him down for me right now. The employees nervously exchange glances.
They hesitate, but Tielvong and another female staff member, who are usually pretty close with Badat, react instantly, rushing in from both sides to tightly grab our guy's arms.
He fights to break free, but 2 hands just can't beat 4. They pin him down so hard he literally can't move an inch. And Badat, he watches him get totally restrained, flashing this incredibly cruel, completely thrilled smile. He takes his sweet time walking right up to our guy, raises his hand with everything he's got, and delivers a seriously massive slap back.
Smack! A super sharp sound echoes right out, knocking his face completely sideways.
He instantly tastes something sharp and metallic. Then the guy sneers. "I actually thought you were some big shot raising your voice at me." Badat rubs his hand, glaring at him with pure venom in his eyes. He grits his teeth and snaps. "Turns out you're just a lying snitch."
I've seen plenty of guys exactly like you. Every single one wants to cling to Liu Nuyin just to steal her massive fortune.
But actually daring to cause trouble right in my face? You are the very first. Let me tell you right now, as long as I am still around, people like you are just absolutely nothing.
Badat narrows his eyes, raises his hand, and yells, "Beat him down!" The very next second, the female staff pins him down hard, while Tielvong totally yanks his hair back and just starts aggressively slapping his face. It's totally past working hours right now. The shop's metal doors are already pulled down, so absolutely no one outside can see what's happening inside. He struggles and screams out loud, desperately hoping someone passing by might actually call the cops. Then that sharp leather shoe heel lands a brutally hard kick right into his stomach. Oof, this insanely intense pain hits him, stealing his breath completely. His vision even flashes totally white for just a split second. That tearing agony ripping through his stomach makes it practically impossible to even open his mouth and speak. He can only let out these muffled, agonizing groans. A sickly sweet, metallic taste rises right up his throat. His vision goes dark, and his fighting strength just slowly fades away. He instantly realizes things are looking really bad. This has to be severe internal damage. That terrifying thought strikes him just like a bolt of lightning. He pushes out his very last ounce of strength. He literally shoves Tielvong away from his face. Using absolutely everything he has left in him, he barely forces out a few desperate words through gritted teeth. Severe internal damage. Call an ambulance right now. Hearing those words makes the attacking staff instantly freeze completely in their tracks. Tielvong and the female staff stare at him, curling up in absolute agony. They both turn super pale, unconsciously loosening their tight grips. He's actually coughing up red.
Tielvong's voice totally trembles, almost breaking into actual tears.
The female staff gets incredibly freaked out and just keeps backing away, staring at him like he is some kind of terrifying monster.
But honestly, check this out. Kui Badat's reaction completely shatters what every single person in that room expects to happen next.
He looks down at the red mess on his mouth without any hint of panic.
Instead, he actually just lets out this incredibly cold, highly toxic laugh. He starts screaming right at his two terrified lackeys. What a total bunch of cowards. He is literally just spitting up a little.
Look at how ridiculously scared you guys are. Fine then. He turns his head back around, and his normally pretty handsome face, it totally twists up into something ugly from pure, extreme hatred. He looks like an absolute demon, snapping to just let this clueless fool be completely finished off.
Before he even finishes speaking, he lifts his leg back up. That seriously sharp leather heel drops right down into his lower stomach. Again and again.
He lets out this absolutely miserable scream. The intense, blinding pain makes his entire body convulse, and his consciousness really starts to blur. He can literally feel his energy just fading away, bit by bit. Right as he's about to completely pass out, his entire vision turns into this deep, hazy crimson color. Bam! The cafe doors get violently pushed wide open. A very familiar figure comes rushing in, silhouetted against the light.
It is actually Liu Ian. Kui Badat spots her and instantly stops kicking. That fierce, ugly expression on his face, it immediately completely flips into this totally wronged, incredibly upset look.
He hurriedly runs over and literally throws himself right into Liu Ian's arms.
"You, Ian, you are finally here," he cries out. "You have absolutely no idea just how incredibly poorly I have been treated today."
Liu Ian hugs him back tightly, skillfully patting his back to comfort him. Her voice is just completely full of absolute pampering. What is wrong?
"Oh, you have got to be kidding me with this. Who dares to bully my Baidat? Tell me, I'll handle them." Kui Baidat completely eats up the coaxing. Totally thrilled, he acts super spoiled, pointing his finger right down at him. Our guy, still curled up on the ground. It's him. Some totally broke loser from nowhere. He kept calling me a homewrecker, and then he literally attacked me. Nian, just look at this. My face is completely swollen from his vicious hits. He keeps whining while eagerly laying out his demands. Nian, you seriously need to teach this absolute jerk a harsh lesson for this.
And to make up for my deeply hurt feelings today, you really have to buy me that flashy sports car we checked out, and definitely that fancy watch I saw last time too.
Otherwise, I am simply not forgiving you. Okay, I will buy it all.
Liu Ian ugly agrees instantly, totally coddling him like he's a literal toddler. She sneers. They are really just some clueless, stupid nobodies who don't know their actual place and just want to desperately cling to us. I only care about my sweet Badat. After she finishes fully comforting him, she finally turns around and starts walking right toward our guy. Every single click of her heels feels like it is stomping right onto his heart. He literally has absolutely zero strength left to move, totally forced to just stay curled up there. He weakly parts his lips, desperately wanting to beg her for a hospital. But only empty, shallow breaths come out as his mouth moves. He just physically cannot make a single other sound anymore. Liu Ian walks right up to me. She looks down from above, and there isn't a single shred of pity in her eyes, just coldness, disgust, and pure irritation.
She doesn't even bother bending down. Instead, she uses her shiny high heels to kick me twice. "Hey, get up," she says, her voice cold as ice.
I'm sprawled flat on the floor. Using my last bit of strength, I can only let out a few hoarse groans from my throat. Seeing that I'm still breathing and she hasn't actually killed anyone, Liu Yen assumes it's no big deal. She clicks her tongue in total annoyance. Turning to the driver standing behind her, she barks an order. "Drag him away and deal with it. Don't dirty up my store." Drag him away. Those 3 words stab straight into my chest like a sharp knife.
The driver agrees and steps forward, getting ready to drag me out. I look at this guy, someone I've always treated pretty well, and a wave of pure despair washes over me. I am so incredibly weak that I can't even force a single word out, but my absolutely freezing stare stays locked dead onto his face.
My glare makes the driver freeze up completely, and his movements come to a dead halt. He is genuinely terrified of me now.
He hesitates for a second. The blood and messy hair covering my face must be bothering him quite a bit.
So he unconsciously reaches out, brushing the sticky strands of hair right off my cheek. Now watch what happens right here. The very second my face is fully exposed, the driver's pupils shrink down to pinpricks, and every single drop of color instantly drains from his face. He looks like he got struck by lightning. He stands completely frozen, his jaw dropping wide enough to fit a whole egg.
He stammers, completely unable to form a single full word. CEO, he gasps. The guy is panicking, just totally, completely losing his mind.
He jumps up and scrambles over to Liu Nguyen, grabbing tight onto her arm. CEO Leo, he stutters out. This is bad.
Liu Nguyen is busy holding Quý Bá Đạt, sweet-talking him, so she gets super annoyed by the interruption and fiercely swats the driver's hand away.
Stop bothering me with such tiny things. I told you to handle it, so handle it. Why are you dawdling? Do you want to get fired? No, that's not it.
CEO Leo, the driver's on the verge of tears, his voice shaking hard. You really need to look at who this is.
CEO Leo, this is a massive disaster. The driver, Tren Tru, doesn't dare touch me anymore. He just stands there, pointing down at me in absolute horror.
Liu Nguyen finally realizes something is actually wrong. She frowns, reluctantly lifting her head to glance over at me on the floor, following where the driver is pointing.
With just one single look, my messy, tangled hair has already been brushed aside by the driver. My entirely blood-covered face reflects clearly right into her eyes. She instantly freezes dead in her tracks. The heavy annoyance and disgust on her face instantly harden, then completely shatter piece by piece. What replaces it is an absolute bone-chilling terror running deep down into her core.
The phone in her hand slips and smashes onto the ground with a loud thud. The screen shatters, but she does not even have the mind to care about it anymore.
Husband! Liu Nguyen scrambles and crawls her way over to my side. She drops heavily to her knees right next to me. Her hands tremble, wanting to touch me, but she doesn't dare. Honey, what happened to you? Honey, please wake up. Her voice is overflowing with a kind of fear and despair she's never felt before, looking like her entire world has just collapsed entirely.
That cry for her husband, it leaves Quý Bá Đạt, who was smugly watching the drama from the side, completely dumbfounded.
The smirk on his face stiffens up. He stares at this dramatic scene in pure disbelief. Nguyen, what did you just call him? Husband?
He finally snaps back to reality, realizing that he is actually the one who just got played this whole time. He lets out a loud shout, rushing over to grab Liu Nguyen by the collar and shaking her fiercely. He demands answers. Didn't you say you were single? Didn't you say I was the only one for you? Who the hell is this guy? You better explain this right now.
But right now, Liu Nguyen's eyes and heart are entirely focused on me, barely clinging to life.
Getting wildly annoyed by Quý Bá Đạt shaking, she suddenly whips her head around. Glaring at him with bloodshot eyes, she shoves him away with incredible force. Get lost! Quý Bá Đạt stumbles back from the hard push and crashes heavily onto the ground.
Liu Nguyen doesn't even bother paying him any attention anymore.
She carefully lifts me from the floor, holding me like I'm some kind of priceless treasure. Ambulance! Call an ambulance right now! She screams frantically right at their faces.
The driver and the staff are scared stupid. Lying there in her arms, I can smell her familiar scent, mixed right in with Quý Bá Đạt men's cologne still lingering on her.
My stomach just churns in disgust. I look up at her face, completely filled with terror and regret, as my remaining consciousness is swallowed by endless darkness. Right before passing out, my body finally gives up the fight.
I close my eyes. When I finally open them again, I'm hit by the incredibly strong smell of hospital disinfectants.
White ceiling, white walls, white bedsheets. I weakly twitch my fingers, feeling a heavy, crushing ache all over my body, like I've been completely beaten apart.
Especially in my lower stomach, sending out waves of hollow, cramping pain. My internal organs have definitely taken some serious damage here. Tears quietly roll down from the corners of my eyes. Honey, you're awake! A voice rings right by my ear, sounding thrilled but choked with heavy sobs. I turn my head slowly and see Liu Nguyen keeping watch right by my hospital bed.
She looks incredibly haggard. No makeup on her bare face, and her bloodshot eyes make her look absolutely pathetic.
Seeing me wake up, she immediately lunges forward, trying to grab my hand. I instinctively pull back, totally avoiding her touch.
Her hand just awkwardly freezes right there in midair. Hubby, I am so sorry. I was wrong. I was really so wrong. She drops hard to her knees right beside my hospital bed, crying hysterically and starting her whole pathetic confession.
I am not even human. I am absolute trash. I should never have let those inner demons win. Hubby, can you just give me one more chance? I swear I will never, ever act like that again.
I will cut ties with that man completely. Please do not leave me. She is sobbing, tears and snot running down her face, looking exactly like a kid who got caught misbehaving. But looking at her now, my heart is just completely dead silent. I quietly listen to her finish, and then, using this terrifyingly calm tone, I give her my answer. We are getting a divorce. Now watch this shift. Liu Nuyen stops crying instantly. She violently snaps her head up, staring at me in total disbelief. No, hubby, I do not want a divorce. I cannot possibly survive without you. I just completely ignore her pathetic begging, calmly moving right on to announce my second major decision.
As for Kui Ba Dat, I am holding him fully accountable under the law. That single sentence completely shatters the last bit of Liu Nuyen's mental defenses. She fully realizes that if we actually divorce, absolutely everything she currently has, the luxury cars, the massive house, her high position, and that fancy CEO Liu title, all of it vanishes into thin air. She will crash from the peak straight into the mud, left with nothing. Hubby, I am begging you, for the sake of all our years together as husband and wife.
Because. She desperately wants to say something else but cannot force it out, so she just keeps bowing her head, endlessly begging me.
Thud, thud, thud. The sound echoes loudly right through the completely silent hospital room. Right then, the door violently swings open and my parents rush in. Seeing Liu Nuyen kneeling on the ground, then noticing my pale face on the hospital bed, they instantly put the whole picture together. You absolute disgusting animal. My father roars in pure fury, charging forward and kicking Liu Nuyen right to the floor. My mother lunges too, pointing at her while crying and yelling, "What did my son ever do to you? How did our Ha family ever wrong you for you to ruin him like this? You incredibly vicious, cold-blooded snake of a woman." Totally crushed by my parents' explosive rage, Liu Nuyen loses all will to resist, just curling up and groaning on the floor. Finally, my dad violently drags her right out of my room, pulling her away like a heavy sack of dirt. The chaos finally settles down into silence. On discharge day, my parents come to pick me up. Liu Nuyen is nowhere to be found. The very first thing I do is call my lawyer. Time to sue Kui Ba Dat and his two little lackeys. My lawyer's efficiency is seriously top tier. Plus, that coffee shop is actually my own territory. The ultra-high-def 360-degree security camera system with absolutely zero blind spots perfectly recorded every single brutal move from Kui Ba Dat and his two thugs. How exactly he insulted me? The specific way he brutally attacked me. How Little Wang grabbed my hair and slapped me, and how that female employee forcefully pinned me down. And finally, how Kui Ba Dat used his sharp leather shoes to viciously kick my lower stomach over and over again. The very end of the video shows me curled up on the ground, perfectly capturing his exact words. Great, just let this clueless fool die completely, all picked up crystal clear by the audio equipment. With rock-solid evidence, a malicious motive, and ruthless methods, the police quickly build a strong case. Kui Ba Dat and his two lackeys are thrown straight into criminal detention. I hired the absolute best legal team, determined to make them pay the heaviest legal price for their actions. With Kui Ba Dat handled, Liu Nuyen is up next. I brought in a top legal crew and the industry's leading financial audit experts to dig deep, conducting a massive, thorough inspection of the company's accounting books from the last 3 years, especially focusing on every single project Liu Nuyen managed. You are not going to believe what they found. Pure horror.
She used dirty tricks like issuing fake invoices to drain company funds and heavily abused the purchasing department to pocket massive kickbacks.
She even set up a shell company to transfer our assets. That fancy sports car and the designer watch she bought for Quibadat.
Even their romantic dates and hotel room expenses, every single cent was secretly pulled straight from the company's official account.
My elite legal team quickly gathers all this solid evidence and officially files 2 massive lawsuits in court. The very first one is a divorce petition demanding she leaves entirely empty-handed. All of my wealth is strictly premarital property, so she will not be walking away with a single dime. The second is a heavy criminal complaint for occupational embezzlement and severely abusing the company's public funds. Every single penny she stole from me must be paid back, with heavy interest. But right as the lawsuit procedures are moving along perfectly, someone completely unexpected actually comes looking for me. It is Quibadat's parents. They stubbornly block my path right at the bottom of my apartment building.
The second they see me, they drop to their knees with a thud, crying uncontrollably. Mr. Hot, we are begging you to be generous and just let our son go.
He is still so young. He does not understand things. It was just a temporary moment of foolishness. I look at this gray-haired couple with their deeply wrinkled faces, but my heart feels absolutely zero pity.
Before I can even say a word, a shadow suddenly flashes out from right behind them. It is Quibadat, currently out on bail. He looks incredibly exhausted, all that arrogant pride completely wiped from his face, leaving behind nothing but pure terror and utter collapse. He drops to his knees too, bowing right at my feet. He cries out, begging for forgiveness, saying he was wrong and completely regrets it. He claims that terrible woman Liu Nuyen tricked him too. He swears she told him she was single, completely hiding the fact that she was already married. He looks up at me with teary eyes, desperately trying to win my sympathy. He pleads that we are both guys, so we should be on the exact same side.
He insists we both got played by that awful woman, so we should help each other out and team up against her instead.
Let him off the hook, and he promises to testify in court, exposing every single horrible thing she did, so we can help each other. Listening to his pathetic words, I finally let out a cold laugh. I look down at him from above, questioning him word by word.
I remind him when his goons pinned me down and he kicked me in the stomach over and over with his shoes.
Did he think about our brotherhood back then? Not once. When I was hurting badly, coughing and warning him about internal injuries, he just laughed in my face. He said it was great, wanting to end a clueless fool like me completely. Did he ever stop and think about us both being guys right at that moment?
Quibadat không ản luộn bác được ảo. His face turns completely pale, his lips trembling so much he cannot even form a single word.
I look at him coldly, telling him to save that emotional card to play against the criminal justice system. Having said my piece, I step right around his entire family and walk straight into the apartment building without looking back once. Desperate cries echo behind me, but I do not even pause my steps for a single second.
Liu Nuyen completely loses her mind. She receives the court summons và criminal charges, finding out all her bank accounts are totally frozen.
My father sends his people to literally toss her right out of our newlywed house, treating her just like trash. That is the moment she finally realizes she has truly lost absolutely everything. She vents all her bitter resentment onto Quibadat. She feels that if it were not for this foolish and vicious man, things would never have reached this absolute disaster. If he had not actually attacked the real boss, her lies would never have been exposed at all. She could have just kept being Director Liu, living a wealthy life while secretly keeping her lover around. I hear from my lawyer that Liu Nuyen launches an absolutely insane revenge campaign against Quibadat. She takes all the private photos and videos captured during their entire time together, sending them out completely anonymously to his family, his friends, and even every single one of Quibadat's future employers. She goes as far as tracking down his hometown, printing his glorious achievements on flyers, and plastering them all over the entire village for everyone to see.
Quibadat's life, while out on bail, quickly turns into an absolute living nightmare.
His reputation? Completely ruined. Totally erased from society. He never even dares to leave his house.
It is a vicious game of two bad people tearing each other apart. Hearing this news, my heart does not even ripple, not feeling a single ounce of joy or satisfaction.
You know what? Their ending has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. My life has turned a brand new page, and the court's final verdict is officially out.
Due to intentional assault with severe aggravating circumstances, Qui Ba Dat gets officially sentenced to 3 full years of prison time. His 2 loyal goons also receive a strict 1-year prison sentence for acting as his willing accomplices.
Liễu Như Yên get hit với một loạt heavy charges cho corporate embezzlement và severely misusing company funds, ultimately getting sentenced to a solid 7 years behind bars,
while having every single one of her illegal assets completely confiscated. Our divorce ruling goes into full effect at the exact same time. She leaves completely empty-handed, with everything finally settled for good. I return to the main company headquarters, sitting right back down in the chairman's chair that truly belongs to me. The very first thing I do is summon all branch managers for a meeting, launching a thorough internal inspection and complete restructuring. I completely revise the employee handbook, highlighting all the welfare clauses in bold red, and personally visit every single store to guarantee that all workers finally get the fair rights and absolute respect they truly deserve. That specific branch from before? It is totally done. I refuse to let it stay open for even one more day. It feels cursed to me. I want everyone to clearly understand that my brand tolerates absolutely zero stains. No one is ever allowed to bully my employees. Everything is finally back on the right track. On a beautiful, perfectly sunny afternoon, I sit down right by the floor-to-ceiling windows at the main headquarters, brewing myself a rich, highly flavorful cup of Blue Mountain coffee.
The sunlight shines through the glass, casting a very warm glow over me.
The fragrant coffee scent drifts up, bringing a tiny hint of bitterness, but a perfectly sweet aftertaste. I lost a whole marriage, but I also saw someone's true colors and completely opened my eyes. My life will never stop just because of a few pieces of trash. I raise the coffee cup, taking a very light sip.
This new life, just like this coffee.